Hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to our review of You, Me, We, couples inspiring each other to reach their greatest potential. And guess what? This is our last video for this series, but I am so excited about you picking up this book as well as our marriage journal, I Would Marry You All Over Again. Both, I think, will be a blessing to your family and the future of your family. We're going to talk today about quite a few important topics before we wrap up this series. And the first one is think tank. Yes. What is that?
Yes, think tank. Think tank is what it sounds like. You know, you're having conversations. But I think it's more than just that opportunity to have a conversation. And I want to preface it, or kind of lead into the conversations, that as an individual, as you're relating and communicating to God, let's say, and thinking about your future, you know, you're going through some deliberations about what's next for you or how God is leading you. So if you're communicating, like we've said in our book, between your spouse, there's kind of an ongoing conversation about what you're sensing, what you're perceiving.
Right.
So for example, I got really interested in biblical economics, okay? And so I was talking to Karla about that and some of the things I was doing to kind of shut down some old ways of thinking and pursuing the knowledge that I believe that God was trying to bring into my life in my desire, my pursuit. And so as I'm sharing this conversation over a period of months, let's say, and even maybe over a period of a year or two, I get this impression that I need to go back to school. And really to get a PhD in biblical economics. That's kind of my thought process. And so then we begin to have a conversation about it. And I'm going back and forth, what do you think? I'm getting her perspective, but I'm getting also her God-hearing sensibilities about what I'm believing God is saying for me to do. And so we discuss it, and then because of that conversation, I go for it. I begin to look for a program, the university that would have the things that would be important to me in pursuing this PhD. So the think tank, yes, is an opportunity that you set aside to discuss what's been happening, what you're going through, but also the key thing is that it all kind of comes to a culmination about maybe making a decision, and that comes out of the think tank.
Yeah. You know, when it comes, there's so much. I do a lot on social media. I've written how many books now? About to publish the 10th book. 10 books, 9 journals. And I'm always, he's my #1 reader, editor, reviewer. Before I even move forward with the actual editor, he's looking through things. He's reviewing things. He's, because I know, even though, he can be real hard on me. When it comes to editing, it always turns out better than anything that I would have done on my own. And so it really is special to have him care so much about a product or, you know, a book that I am writing, that he wants to make it as magnificent as it possibly can be.
Absolutely.
And so we have think tanks about that. Financially, you know, whatever your future goals are for your family, whatever your goals are individually, business goals, if you have an organization like I do, it's just very important to think about those kinds of things together, get each other's feedback, prayer, wisdom on the topic so that you're on the same page, but also so that you are able to get someone else's perspective that really cares about you. I mean, it's one thing to think, you know, for random people to tell you what they think about something, but he has a vested interest in my success, and I in his success. And so sit down, not just, you know, chilling at home, go out, make it a formal meeting to the point where you are going down a list of things that you want to discuss that involve the household, your marriage, that involve business, jobs, financial moves, whatever it is that you're doing, have that think tank together. Not in passing, but make it intentional.
Because when you have this intentional meeting or conversation, it may not just be one conversation, it may be a course of conversations.
Right.
But you're saying that this is important.
Right.
You're deeming it to be so. And so when you create things, when you come together with this importance in mind, again, you're making, the idea or the goal is you're making the right decision.
Right.
And that decision, like Karla said, is not just for one, but it works for the us, the
yes.
we, being one in, again, whatever's happening in my life at the time, say, and be it back in school, or whether they're traveling to different countries, or the time and energy that she needs to spend in writing the books.
Right.
So, again, you
and
want
the
to come
time and
together.
energy that you need to spend writing.
Yeah.
Because that's it's very time consuming for him. It's really next level. So, so it's very important that you take it seriously and that you, that it be an intentional thing. So we also want to talk about. We talked a little bit about discerning opportunities and making sure that you're prayerful and that you check in with each other to make sure that whatever opportunity you are embarking upon together or even individually in your careers or whatever you're doing, that you check in with each other and you make sure that you have the right mindset and that you're getting wisdom and feedback from each other so that you're making the right decisions. So you may say, what if I make the wrong decision?
And that will happen.
We have done that before. And we've made the wrong decision in situations that we're just like, oh well. And then we've made some that are like, what were we thinking?
Life-altering, family-altering decisions.
Yes, we're like, oh my God. But what's important is that as soon as you recognize that you have gotten off track in whatever area it is, that you course correct. That you get on the same track, you are honest with one another, and you determine, what you're going to do to get back on the road that God has for you and your family.
Yeah, because it's not a time of pointing the finger.
No.
It's not a time to blame someone. Let's say, of course, being, the husband and the head of the household, I'm going to naturally take responsibility for whatever happens with the household in the direction of it. But it's also a situation that we just both need to be humble in that particular scenario where, I led this, or, I brought this up, or I didn't listen, or I should have listened, and it got us off. So it's also time to, again, ask for forgiveness, say you're sorry, and repent, get it done, so then you can have a think tank, if you will, begin to communicate, discern opportunities, and then course correct.
Yes, and course correct sooner than later.
Yeah.
Don't wait. When you see something has gone wrong, don't ignore it. Don't pretend it away. Don't think time is going to fix it. Course correct intentionally together.
You got to redeem the time.
Yes.
You got to redeem the time.
Really, and we've had that situation. But what's beautiful though is that we've had one major situation in our lives. In the 25 years that we've been married, it was one major situation in our lives where we had to course correct that cost us thousands of dollars and a lot of time to course correct. However, has it happened since?
No, it hasn't.
We learned our lesson, and that was 11 years ago.
We speak up.
We speak up, as we talked about in our previous video.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, before we end today, we want to talk about being each other's number one cheerleader.
Yes.
No one should out-cheer you when it comes to your spouse.
Absolutely.
No one should be more on their side, more into what they're doing, more support for them than you as a husband or wife. And so I want to end with that. So important. So important that you are your spouses, your husband, your wife, their number one cheerleader, that you are there for them and you do everything that you can to support them and to be a team player in whatever it is that you are endeavoring to do together or whatever you are endeavoring in your own, solitary pursuits.
You have to be in your spouse's corner.
All the time.
Sometimes, unfortunately, we know or feel the sting when we're not in our spouse's corner, and we may do things, say things that are offensive and hurtful, and we know the impact of that. Mm-hmm. But just as strong of an impact, and I would say even greater, is being your spouse's cheerleader, because you're a source of encouragement, uplifting them in time of need, just reinforce whatever is needed for that moment at that time. Because again, who knows you better than your spouse to speak, again, those needful words at that moment over a course of time of transition, change, and just endeavoring as you're into new opportunities. So, yes, be your spouse's number one cheerleader.
We have a vested interest in each other's success.
Yes.
If you succeed, I succeed.
Absolutely. You succeed, I succeed.
Absolutely. So again, we want to encourage you to pick up our book, You, Me, We, Couples Inspiring Each Other to Reach Their Full Potential, and our marriage journal, I Would Marry You All Over Again. And I definitely would marry you all over again.
All over again.
Thank you. All right. Well, we will see you soon, and make sure you pick up the book. I will put the link in the comment section of each of the videos. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.